got it here.
Aha. Says we're live. Are we live? Are we live? I feel like we should have some like intro music.
No.
All right.
Yay! Hi, sound system. Well, firstly, let's just say cheers to Joe. 16 years of marriage. Cheers, cheers, cheers.
Cheers.
I don't have a drink, but I am next to a bottle of maple syrup, but I'm not going to start licking that.
That's a bit extreme, Mel.
Yeah, I wouldn't knock that back.
Yeah.
It is. Or the Nutella, doesn't Donna say a spoonful of Nutella? So I just like
Yeah.
Hi,
throughout the
Cheryl.
call.
Yeah.
I think
Definitely.
you
For the call, for the live.
that's going to be
No
like
more tonight with the jar of Nutella.
that'll be pretty much where we've sort of evolved to is eating Nutella out of a jar. Oh, so it's been quite an emotional week, I think, with Mental Health Awareness Week. I think it's been. I wanted to just say, and I guess you guys will be the same. For everyone that's come on this week, you included, Thomas, just honouring everyone's vulnerability, and they're really heartfelt stories. I think a lot of people were really touched by the various different elements of mental health that we were talking about through the week. So
Yeah.
big salam from me and from all of us. But
Absolutely.
yeah, I think if I'll do the same as I did before, and I need to remember not to talk so fast this time. But there's a few little takeaways that I sort of noted down. So I think, first of all, Monday we had the lovely Thomas with Isolation Nation, so thank you very much. Tuesday we had Michelle Minikin, am I pronouncing that right? Northern Inspiration. Wednesday we had the lovely Neil Lewis as well with resistance to meditation and how it changed his life. And then Thursday we had our very own Donna. So that was fantastic, talking about obviously her personal experience with depression. So a few things that I took away. So structure, which again, like from a personal perspective, all of my rebellion goes, no, you don't need structure. But actually, thinking about during this time, what we're doing for ourselves, what we're doing for our environment, and what we're doing in our community as well. That was one of your tips, Thomas, which was fab. Limiting the noise of the negativity noise. So things like the media, the news. I found that incredible. I mean, I was never really a big watcher of the news anyway, but just to kind of, I dip into it as and when I need to, as opposed to it being kind of forced down my throat all the time. And then you can choose to be inspired rather than incensed. That was one of yours, Thomas. I love that. I think that was brilliant, just around what was going on with the situation. And then a few other things. Comparison is the thief of joy. Love that. I think that's absolutely brilliant. And be excited about the journey to happiness as well, not just like happiness as this end goal, like everything that happens along the way. So that was, I think, one of Michelle's tips too. Make sure you understand your values, because I think that very much drives where you go with things. And then if we tick on to some of the tips from Neil, so from a meditation perspective, it's not about silencing your mind, and I'm quite passionate about this. That's why I do Kundalini meditation, because it involves mantra and chanting and hand gestures and all the rest of it, because I can't sit there and look at a candle flame. So there's just so many different types of meditation, which is great. And also he talks about having a frequent practice. That doesn't necessarily mean you need to beat yourself up and do a daily practice, but frequent enough that it becomes part of your life. And this quote, self-compassion is your birthright. I kind of feel like I want to tattoo that somewhere, like add it to my tattoo, And then just talking about some of the points that came across from Donna. Ask for and accept help. That's such a key point. And I think what I love about the movement behind Mental Health Awareness Week is that it's helping to kind of debunk the stigma around mental health. And I think the more people that talk about it, the more people will feel okay about asking for help. Again, speak to someone, break your life down into little parts. Like, what do you want it to look like? And have a good old journaling session about that. Listen to your intuition. I mean, I'm a huge fan of that as well. Feelings. And then feel the feels. Don't ignore the feelings. If you're going to need to feel what you need to feel, it's almost a go through so that you, rather than go round something. But those were the things that I took away. So jumping.
I think yesterday's was really good, real, honest, and I think that's what people sort of are inspired by. So yesterday was a highlight for me. Hearing Donna's story. Really cool.
Thomas, you're a bit quiet. Do you want to lean in just to your mic a little bit further? Sorry.
Is that better?
That's better, yeah.
I just said it's very inspiring yesterday to hear Donna's story. Very real, very honest, raw. A lot of people are inspired by this kind of story. Keeping it real, not to sound too.
Down with the kids. Yeah.
I don't know what that is, but yeah.
No, I think I think everything you said, Yvette and Tom, it isn't like kindness comes through all of the time, and being kind to yourself, and then to lift yourself. I've realised, it's when you help other people as well, and that's the thing with mental health. It's something that I'm close to my heart, and it really inspires you when people talk about the mental health journeys and stuff. And I think that there is still a stigma with it, and it's because it's very, very personal. It's very deep. You might be talking about yourself, you might be talking about family members, and it does. It's uncomfortable, but I think that there will be people out there who something will relate. It'll relate to them, or it'll spark something. I don't know if you saw, was it called Caroline Matthews posted something?
Yeah. She's part of the Real You program with my group, previous group. Yeah,
and I listened to her podcast, Flawlessly Flawed. Is that
Flawlessly Flawed? Yeah.
And that was really interesting because that is looking at a perspective from, and it sounds like quite new to her, the whole. So it's sometimes good to you're getting a real insight to someone who's brand new, and that's how she's supporting somebody with mental health. And I think as much as, I think there still needs to be more help for people with it, but there's certainly less help for anybody supporting anybody, and you just have to get on. Something that occurred to me this morning a little bit, so I was putting my makeup on a bit extra for this, obviously. I'm putting my Factor 50 on my face, and I'm not going to be going outside, might sit outside in the garden. But like about 4 years ago, I got skin cancer. So on my head here, and it's one of those things, isn't it? It's like until you deal with something, you kind of think, oh, it won't happen to you, or that happens to other people. Oh, that's terrible, So it wasn't even a mole. It was just something small. It just wouldn't go anyway. Got it cut out, and that's what it was. And then it's funny because now, I put my Factor 50 moisturiser on before my makeup every day, even if I'm not going out. I'd walked the dog the other day, and I saw a friend in the distance, and we had a social distance conversation, and she was always sat in the garden, and I think I had my cap on as well, and she was like, oh, you do. And it's funny because I was never one to sort of hammer. I mean, back in the old days, there was the sunbeds and stuff. I never really hammered those, but I went on occasionally. I would be like out in the sun, but not over the top. So it was something that I wasn't expecting to happen. But now, because I know the importance of it, it doesn't bother me. I don't sit out in the sun. I'll I'll have my cap on, I'll be under the shade. And it's the same thing with anything else, isn't it? Until something happens to you, you don't really pay much attention. And I think with this, for me, it's just the fact that like we've got this community and people can chat. It's like amazing. And it's like almost, even if you're feeling okay, there's still like so much knowledge in here that it can just really help to kind of keep you on the right track and not kind of veer off. And I think, and it's so true, and with mental health, because people can't see it. People might just think you're being a bit moody or what have you. It is hard, and I think it is about being around like-minded people to just be able to to be able to relate to people.
I don't know about you guys, but I never felt important enough to have mental health issues.
Oh wow!
Mental health issues, yeah. I think that's the weird thing. And I've heard a lot of other people say that as well. I don't know about you guys, but yeah, that's something.
And like, what is that scream? That just screams. You don't like, you've got no self-worth. You know what I mean? Like that, isn't it? It's one of the, to think, oh well, I can't because I'm not doing anything major, or I'm just living my life, or what have you. And I think, did Donna put a post? So there's a post on. You can have loads of money. You can have gorgeous houses, and you can have all the materialistic stuff, but your mental health, it's just, if you don't feel good inside, and it can affect it, and all the outside stuff doesn't matter. So no, I've really loved it.
My biggest takeaway from the whole week has been mental health. It doesn't come naturally. You have to work at it. And what every single speaker has given me this is something practical to work with. And I've just been thinking then, if you want to tone your body, if you want to get strong, you don't just go out for one run and then go, job done. You've got to do it, not necessarily every day, but you've got to do it every other day. You've got to do it regularly. And I'm only just making that link in the last few months between that and regular practice for my mental health. And I wouldn't consider that I've ever had any significant mental health issues, like a period of depression. But when I now look back, I think I definitely had periods of stress and anxiety and self-doubt, and I wasn't doing any of these practices. What I was doing was going out on the lash and partying and blocking it all out and going, well, work's been really stressful, so I will now spend the next 10 hours absolutely on the lash, sleep it off all day the next day, do it again the next night, and then go back into work on Monday having blown off all that steam. And I just think now that's so different to what I just wouldn't even dream of doing that now. Now it is all about being aware of how you're feeling, tapping into which area of your life has been affected, talking to people, sharing on the group, picking up all these tips. But it is something that you've got to work at. And what has been amazing for me is it's not that hard to do it. But if I go out for a run, I bloody know I've done it. My legs knackered and sweating. I'm like, oh, that was hard. But sitting down to do my planner every day and think about how am I going to show up today? How am I going to treat that person? Who am I going to connect with? That's not hard. That's an absolute joy.
Yeah.
And today I didn't do it because I wasn't up as early, and the kids got up a bit earlier than I'd planned, than I was expecting. So I thought, oh, don't worry about it. And do you know what? My head's been in a spin all morning.
Oh, it's funny, isn't it?
You know what? You didn't set the day. Brendan, if I knew him personally, would be not happy with me today. He would be very disappointed. He would go, you see, I'm right. So, yeah, I think an awful lot about regular practice, but when you're not in a really, really dark place, you're keeping it going, it's a pleasure.
Yeah.
And just I've done now. So.
Somebody's put on here, on the mat rather than on the lash.
I like that.
And I think this might be Cheryl or someone's put, always comes back to core confidence. And there's obviously a Now Is Your Time course pops up on the 1st of June.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I mean, you know, not to be still, but like I am looking forward to that. It's going to be fun. And I think for me, something else is like, 2 things that have really helped me is just like you say, you know, yes, to have the routines in the morning, the routines at night, great. But for some people, when you're really feeling like, do you know what I mean? Breathe. Like if anything has helped me is just you stop and you breathe in and you breathe out, because when you are not in a good place, you can't. Breathing is the only thing, you know what I mean, you can potentially do. And it's as simple as that. And then another thing that's helped me is just like choosing again. So it's like, you know, something comes up, it's not gone well. Instead of going down that path of just going, right, hang on. It's like Cheryl always says, what's the next best thought? You know, and just trying to think of that. Do you know what I mean? So like little things that maybe, because I think as humans, like we are, like we will resist, like you just said, about like you kind of resist feeling like you have to do this and I have to do that.
Yeah.
So there was teeny little things like just counting your breath for a couple of breaths, I think is.
And
breathing is so powerful. Earlier this year, I had one of the worst days of my life at work, where a piece of work I'd been working on was going very, very badly wrong, with literally minutes to go before my boss had to present it to the exec board. And she was saying, why isn't this right? Why isn't this right? And I literally sat, I couldn't speak. I couldn't see the spreadsheet in front of my eyes. It was moving, it was swimming. My palms were sweaty. And I was just like a quivering wreck. And she just said to me, you need to go and get yourself sorted out. And there was no way in my brain was there going to be a little voice going, I think the area of your life you need to focus on right now is all I could do was breathe, because my brain had stopped functioning.
Yeah.
And that's magic, Joe. It was absolute magic. I just had to go and sit down and breathe. And it wasn't 1 or 2 minutes. I had to do it for like a good 10 minutes because I was so up a height. And that's what has sparked off my personal interest in what Neil described as just calming and quieting the mind. That's my impression.
Mm-hmm.
And how gorgeous is that Neil's voice? Oh, I've just listened to him this morning. Is Yogi Bear, isn't it? The Yogi Bear.
Yogi Bear, yeah.
Oh, that was lovely. He's got a lovely calming voice.
But that's why I think all you Geordies need to do some sort of like meditation, like put it out, like put it on Headspace or something and call it like Geordie meditations, because I could listen to your voices for ages.
It's funny, isn't it? But then we as Geordies or what have you, or you know, never think we do. Oh no.
Yeah. I think one of my big aha moments this week as well is I really saw the difference between control and routine. So I think when I go, because again, same as you, I've never experienced a deep depression, but I think I've had periods of time where I've been very anxious, very stressed. I mean, at the moment, sometimes I feel like I'm white knuckling the day just because of the redundancy thing at the moment. But so in those sort of periods, I think my natural thing, which is nuts, is to try and control everything. So then I go into I can't remember who said this. I listened to an audiobook about this. The way that you deal with anxiety is you either over function or you under function. And I go into over function. I go into productivity. I start kind of doing and trying to solve the problem in 16 different ways. Whereas I know that I feel out of alignment because I feel icky. I don't feel right. I feel you know that feeling like when you go out of a night out and you think, did I leave the hair straighteners on? Or maybe not you, Thomas, but you know, that kind of thing. And it's that weird sort of feeling. And I think for me, routine isn't control. Routine's the thing that kind of keeps you balanced with all of the good practices. So if your routine involves something that is meditational, doesn't need to be meditation. It could be like for you, Thomas, it's probably your running. For me, I've started walking, doing like really long walks around where I live. Yeah, so it's just things like that. And I think it's just separating those two things so that I don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. So when I'm kind of going into, because then I go control, and then I have a rebellious meltdown and throw all the control out, which includes, normally includes the routine as well. And then I'm like, oh God, I'm back at square one again. Like we have to start this again. So that was a
consistency, isn't it? Like the little consistency. For me, just see, I'm the opposite. So what I do is I just literally like shut down.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, but then I feel so anxious because I'm not doing stuff. So I go the total other way, and I can just go to sleep. So it's like my body my brain just, do you know what I mean, shuts down. So it's just weird, isn't it? It's just finding. For me, I've got to find little things to do, but that aren't too much.
Yeah,
that's when it's breathing and listening to a podcast or a meditation. Do you know what I mean? Something like that is like easy. It's got to be easy. Got to be easy for me.
That's the same for me. If I'm overwhelmed by something, I'll take myself away from that, and I'll do something else, regardless of how simple it is, that I know I can do. And then I feel better because I've done something, and then I'll return in a better frame of mind to tackle whatever triggers me.
That's so good. Yeah, that's really good, isn't it? That's like, it's almost like a deflection technique, isn't it?
Deflection, yeah.
Or distraction.
So, yesterday before my run, because I knew that I really didn't want to go out because it was hot, and I just couldn't be bothered yesterday. My hay fever was awful. And I thought, oh, what can I do to deflect and maybe not go for this run? So I rearranged the furniture in my living room, sat down.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, that's, and I went for my run. So yeah, you just do.
Yeah, I love that. I love that because then you're doing something that also brings you joy.
Yeah,
you know. I love that.
I'll probably move it all back again
to school. At my kids' school, when they were doing like their happiness project, they all had to write a list of things that they love to do and things that make them feel happy. I think they had the alphabet and they had to try and write something next to each letter. And they were encouraged to, the next time they're not feeling so great, get your list out and maybe pick one of the things off your list that you know is going to make you feel happy. And I thought, that's such a simple thing. As an adult, I don't have my go-to list of things that I know. So when I'm in a flap, I'm like, I'm in a flap. Where's the wine? I'm going to watch something. And instead of going, go to your list, write your list. What do you know really works for you? What will chill you out? What will relax you? What will make you laugh? And because the thinking's already done, so it's just a quick go-to.
I think my
alcohol. So I think that's something we can.
Alcohol.
What did you say, Thomas? Sorry.
So you
my alcohol. Just alcohol. The different types of alcohol. Violet. Absinthe. Yeah.
Absinthe, Baileys, Cointreau. Yeah.
Yeah, Donna's just saying on the comments there that it might be a good business idea, Geordie meditation.
No, I want you to close your eyes.
Oh, it'd be brilliant. I think that's such a good point, that like write a list of, and thanks Holly for doing the tips, by the way. But yeah, writing a happiness list. What a good idea.
Yeah.
Donna's cracked up.
Another exercise that I've done is started reading My Hidden Chimp with them, which is like the kids' version of the chimp paradox.
Oh yeah.
Which I actually the adult version because it's really easy to understand. But they also have coping techniques. So when your chimp takes over and you're really angry about something, what can you do to stop that? If your chimp takes over and you feel yourself getting really scared about something, what can you do to stop that? And this book encourages the kids to write down just one or two things that they will do. And again, that's something we could all have in our little, coping mechanisms toolkit. Was next time I'm feeling angry, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, or leave the room, or whatever it is whatever it is that works for you.
Breathe.
But I think I'm getting quite a lot of mental health guidance for kids stuff because it's so simple.
We used to have when I was younger. My mum and I are peas in a pod. We are I'm her clone, and so whatever would set her off sets me off. When we would, as a teenager, I was a challenge. I say, well, I think she says challenge. I think I just say karma because she was just as bad as me when she was younger, and we always remember this time because. It was back in South Africa and everybody used to smoke and everyone used to smoke just everywhere. And my mum was a smoker and I don't know what was happening, but I was giving her a bit of lip about something. And she picked up her lighter and she threw it. And we laugh about it to this day because I didn't move because she couldn't hit anything. I mean, she was rubbish at when we used to, play ball or whatever in the garden, like she'd say, throw it to me, mum, and it'd end up next door. And for whatever reason, on that particular day, it hit me square between the eyes. And we just cracked up laughing and we just fell around laughing. And from that day forward, it was really strange because whenever we got into that heated sort of thing, it must have triggered like something in our head and we'd laugh. And it seemed to like diffuse the situation a little bit. And I think that's how our family are. I mean, it's probably not healthy, but we tend to make inappropriate jokes at times of real stress and, those sort of times. But yeah, it just sort of sits with me that laughter is our diffuse mechanism. Spirited, yes, thanks, Cheryl.
Not a bad one. That's not a bad diffuse mechanism. A bit of laughter. And I'm sure the inappropriate comments are only inappropriate to other people. I'm sure they're fine within your circle.
Yeah.
Get away with them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
an anchor. Yeah, that's right. It's an anchor.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So I think we've got 2 minutes left. Sorry, Thomas, what were you going to say?
I think all about the humour. Very good way to deal with things, especially with family.
I think I upset some people at hospital though, because when I went in for my radical hysterectomy with my cancer diagnosis, they ask you all these questions. So you're in the booth or the area, you've put your sexy stockings on, you've had an anaesthetist come around to see you and sign a form to say, do you know why you're here? You've had a doctor come around to do the same thing. You've had a nurse to come around to do the same thing. And then eventually when my surgeon came around and got me to fill in the same form again to say, do you know why you're here? I thought it was a perfectly appropriate response to say, I'm here to have my boobs done. It did not go down well. It did not go down well. He was very concerned. But that was just my way of sort of dealing with it at the time. But he was great, bless him.
It's very similar to what Jennifer Walters in her book says about her breast cancer and how she dealt with it. She went in for her breast reduction. That's what she kept saying. It was a breast reduction.
Rather than mastectomy, yeah.
Yeah, her book's really good. Very good.
Whose book is that? Sorry, Thomas?
Jennifer Saunders.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, brilliant. Well, we are half an hour up already. Can you believe it?
Wow.
I know. It's great, isn't it?
Crazy.
I love these Friday sessions. They're so good, aren't they?
That's because you've got a drink in
Are you,
there.
are you on
Just go so
sparkling
quick,
water
don't
there, Yvette?
Pardon?
Are you on sparkling water there, Yvette?
No, there is a small gin in my lemonade. And
There's a large one in mine.
there's a large one in yours. And I need to just say, because there's a lot of my work colleagues that are actually in the Soul System, I am on holiday today. Like, I'm not actually working today.
Yeah. Let you off. I've still got to do a bit of work, but hey.
It's your anniversary. It's your
Me too.
anniversary. Oh, thanks everyone. And thank you to everyone in the Soul System who came on and spoke this week about Mental Health Awareness Week. We've got, I'm going to call it this, it's not like
Really
a thing.
good, really
Sorry, Joe, yeah, I'm interrupting. It's weird, we've got this like delay thing going on. We've got some physical health awareness next week. So watch out for that, because there's going to be some fabulous speakers on next week. Again, I never know if I'm allowed to say who, so I'm going to keep that secret until Cheryl and Donna announce.
Ooh.
Cool. Well, have a lovely long weekend, everybody.
Yes.
Enjoy the sun if it keeps up.
Yeah.
All
We'll
right,
see you
guys.
soon. Take care.
Everyone. Thanks
See you
again.
soon.
Bye.
Bye.